The January transfer window is closed in South Africa, and I think it is fair to say that Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club owned this window. They have signed 4 players, and there have been some also, they've released Gift Mutupa and Sfiso Ngobeni going on loan as well to Zulu. Well, I go by the name of Oscar Ntsinzi Football, where I discuss anything to do with soccer from Africa to the world and from the world to Africa. I don't even know where to start, but at least on this episode, I do want to address maybe 3 questions in regards to me reacting to the signings of Mamelodi Sundowns. The first question would be, the signings that are coming in at this point in time, does Mamelodi Sundowns actually need them? Are the signings really necessary? Number 2, is Mamelodi Sundowns, by signing these players, looking at the bigger picture? Number 1, last season or even the last 7 months or so, Mamelodi Sundowns have played more games than any other team in South Africa. And now you consider the traveling, you consider the suspensions, you consider the injuries, and more often than not, Mamelodi Sundowns is one team that don't have so many players out injured. You would think the football club is a hospital ward. Is that the reason why they've included these 4 players? And number 3, I'll also attempt, obviously this is my opinion, I will attempt to give my 2% opinion on the financial fair play. Obviously, there's a whole lot of teams in South Africa who are complaining because of Sundowns' financial muscle and owned by a billionaire, that maybe there is some unfairness that Mamelodi Sundowns is able to snatch anyone at any time they want. I'll address those 3 questions, and maybe should just go straight to the signings and just break them all down, and what they will also bring to this team. One of them is a South American, one is South African, although was playing in Sweden. 1 or 2 of them have got the Premier Soccer League experience, and one comes from CHIPPA, the other one comes from Orlando Pirates. I'll do the reactions in the order they came in to the club. Number 1, Zuko Mdunyelwa, a defender, was bought from CHIPPA United, and all these 3 of the 4 players signed in January are all 24-year-olds, and just one that is over 30. So Zuko Mdunyelwa is a 24-year-old defender who has been described as a talented right back. Now he comes already into a side that has competition all over the place. I mean, there's competition for all the positions. So Zuko Mdunyelwa, he will be competing with a Khuliso Mdau, a Thapelo, Morena, a Mabue. Sometimes you can play there. A Grand Kekan, who can also fit in at right back when there is emergencies. So he's young, age is on his side, and so you can just imagine what he has been told or what he had learned about Mamelodi Sundowns before coming to Mamelodi Sundowns. So obviously, I think his signing is at the back of the knowledge that Mamelodi Sundowns might lose Khuliso Mdau to a European team. There's been interest from League One and also interest in even the English Premier League. So maybe this is more like a preparation for Zuko to be a backup for a Khuliso Mdau who might actually leave Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, the second signing announced by the club was MATIAS Eaquivel. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but another 24-year-old Argentinian who looks like a Martinez, who plays for Man U. We have another amigo, another Latino coming into Mamelodi Sundowns, joining the Clock based side. I believe the guy is a box-to-box or a number 10. If you've watched some of his videos, the guy looks dangerous outside the box. He's scored some beauties, and obviously coming into this club that is very technical, he's joining a quality side, and you can tell he's also a quality player. And overall, as Mamelodi Sundowns supporters, we can only trust our scouts to do the business, and they've never disappointed us whenever they've gotten a player outside the continent or outside the country. And obviously, when you are buying players, there's also a risk that the player might be a flop. And so this Matias, he's joining already a list of South Americans who have done well since coming into the club, maybe with the exception of Junior Mandieta, who was bought from Stellenbosch. I mean, these 4 players that I'm reacting to are already joining a list of quality players who joined the team at the beginning of the season. Tapelo Maswego, a 20-year-old joining from Supersport. Junior Mandieta, quality player, number 10, number 8, joining from Stellis. So Matias is surrounded by some quality environment, and one only hopes that this guy is really going to push all the midfielders that are taking forwards really to that level where Mamelodi Sundowns wants to reach, which is obviously to win the CAF Champions League, and obviously preparation also for the Club Cup, World Cup, that's its format has changed now, where it's going to include a whole lot of teams, not just 8 clubs, but I think 16 or more. And the third signing coming into the club is TASHREEQ Matthews, a South African who was playing straight in Sweden. He's a winger, and also we are relying on videos because we don't know much of these players. But again, I trust the scouting department of Mamelodi Sundowns. They've really never disappointed us. So TASHREEQ is a winger. He really is fearless, bold. He takes players one-on-one, and more like another form or type of a Tapelo Masego. So we need players who's going to take, especially North Africans, going to take these players on, fearless, bold, and brave, adding another dimension to this already star-studded Mamelodi Sundowns outfit. I think this is one player that will impress us a lot. Not much has been said about him, but those who know, who follow the player, some say he was one player that deserved a call-up for Bafana to join in AFCON. So if some journals are saying that, or some coaches are saying that, it probably means that TASHREEQ is really a decent player. Last but not least, one player none of us expected to leave the mighty Orlando Pirates. I mean, this is a star player. He's described as a breadwinner. He is a match winner. We are talking about THEMBINKOsi Lorch. Lorch has decided to leave Mamelodi, to leave Orlando Pirates and join the mighty Pretorians, and he is a quality acquisition. And obviously, he's coming into a club. He knows already that there's stiff competition at Mamelodi Sundowns, but his advantage is that Rolando Mokoena once worked with him at Mayfair, so that will play to his advantage. And but obviously, these standards must be raised because he's going to meet players who are on another level, and he's got some CAF Champions League experience. He is a quality player. He's a quality player, no question about it. And we'll have to wait and see. Now, to address those 4 questions. Number 1, were all these players necessary? Were they all a need to join what everyone would deem as a squad that doesn't need any additions? To be fair, Mamelodi Sundowns during the season, because of the amount of travel, the amount of games they play, they have a lot of injuries. I mean, they have a lot of injuries, and the travel also is a factor. And the last 6 months of the season, we have a Nedbank to play. We've got a CAF Champions League that everyone wants at the club and supporters. And I think these 4 players will be a much needed addition to give competition and would give a push and to give a break, to refresh Themba Mshishi's, to refresh and Alende, who we've really heavily relied on to boost that forward line of Shalulile, Lucas Ribeiro, and then the Tapelo, Masego, and the defender. There was a time in November where a lot of our defenders were injured. So Zuko will have some game time, definitely, because a lot of our defenders, they really are injury prone. RDR just came back from an injury. Lebusa, when he's back, but when he gets injured, it's for some time. One person who's not been really given a chance is a Mandela, but he also goes out injured. Rivaldo is another one who, when he's back, but when he gets injured, we all fear because he's out for some weeks. So Zuko will definitely play as a much needed and necessary addition. And THEMBINKOSI Lorch, he's there obviously with experience as a number 10 and as an attacking forward to also give another dimension from Eswane that we are used to. Mkhulisi, give a competition to Mkhulisi. So it's I really think that all these players are necessary for all the reasons I have given. And then now, the second question I wanted to address was, were the signings because of CAF Champions League and the Vision 2025 of the Club World Cup in USA? And answer to that is simple. Yes, definitely. You can look at the ages of the players signed. 3 of them are 24 years old and just 1 30-year-old, which is Lorch. And everyone signed is definitely signed for the reasons of winning CAF Champions League. If they fail to win, CAF Champions League definitely is a target. Everyone in the club wants the second star, wants to cement their dominance, not only in South Africa, but really cement their name on the African continent. The last time we won CAF Champions League was in 2016. So it's a while back. It's 8 years now. And so it's yes to those 2 questions. Yes, the players are necessary and they're needed. Yes, probably the vision is Club World Cup 2025. And for these boys to really add the quality in getting the second star. The last question I want to address in reacting to the signings is financial fair play. Now, this is a difficult one and it's complex, and a lot of people have their opinions, and this is what I will say to this. The model of our league, I mean, there's no transparency in contracts, in finances. There's no transparencies. We are all working on rumors. There's no transparency from the league, from the clubs in regards how much players are earning, how much a player was bought for, how a certain player or how much a player was sold for. The model of a league is different from how other leagues operate, especially in Europe. And my opinion on this financial fair play, because the cry from other PSL lovers and followers is that Mamelodi Sundowns have an advantage because they are owned by a billionaire and they can just splash out cash anytime they want to get whoever they want, wherever in the world. So they want the field to be level for everyone. And unfortunately, in this part of the world, that is not a reality. I mean, our model number one, we are getting a subsidy every month, which amounts to about 2.4 million rands. Yeah, 2.4 million rands. I mean, no club can survive on that alone. So you can imagine teams without sponsors. What are they actually doing? Will clubs be willing to bring their books to a governing body that will institute that policy of financial fair play so that we can know what are the expenditures and what are the incomes of these clubs? I can tell you for free, that out of the 16 teams in the league, maybe two, or maybe let's say maybe maximum of 5 clubs are probably have a healthy spreadsheet, their expenditures and the income. Obviously, the 2 clubs with most sponsors is Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. Sundowns, let's say for the past 4 years, have been accumulating a lot of sponsors because of the success on the field. But not that Motsepe needs the money from these sponsors. He can run the club out of his pocket. And you might find out that Mamelodi Sundowns too, the expenditures far exceeds the income. But we don't know how much Motsepe is putting in to this club monthly. I mean, the wage bill alone, I wouldn't even want to guess how much players are getting paid, because with so much quality in the team, and Motsepe's intention of buying the club was to give players what they were worth. I mean, at 2004, when he took over the club, for a player to get 100,000 rands at that time, it was big. I believe it was Peter Ndlovu. It was big news that Peter Ndlovu was getting 100,000 rands. So that's the reason why Motsepe took over the club, to give players, sportsmen, what they deserve, considering that soccer is a short career. Now, if you look at this financial fair play, where it started in Europe, people must understand the fact that it is not an English Premier League policy or a La Liga or a Serie A policy or French League One policy, but it is a continental principle and policy, so that clubs can be run healthily. And if indeed there is a minus, it should not exceed certain millions. I think 10 million pounds or euros monthly. This was started to avoid players, clubs are really being run down with debts. That's why the financial fair play was introduced. But to be honest, the playing fields really leveled in England? Because the bigger clubs are the one anyway that will accumulate more sponsorships than smaller clubs. So you will have a budget of, let's say, 200 million for Man U, as opposed to a Luton FC or Luton Town, who's got a budget of, let's say, 2 million pounds from their sponsors. So are you going to tell me that's fairness? It's still not fair. But anyway, coming back to Africa, if South Africans who are disliking what Mamelodi Sundowns is doing in the market, the question is, this policy cannot be a domestic policy. It should be a continental one, because Mamelodi Sundowns does not only compete in South Africa, but we also compete in CAF Champions League or CAF Confederations Cup. There we compete with big sharks. We are competing with an Al Ahly who buys freely and confidently and boldly players in Europe, they buy players in Germany, buy players in Turkey, in Greece, in England. That is the muscle where we are competing with. And therefore, if this policy is embraced and really people, they want to champion this financial fair play even in Africa, it should be continental, but not a South African principle. Because if it is the case that it's just a South African policy, that it means that Sundowns going to Africa, Orlando Pirates going to Africa, Super Sports, Kukune, Kaizer Chiefs, or whoever qualifies for CAF Champions League, CAF Confederations Cup, they will suffer because they will be playing with teams that they can buy players anyway. The Moroccans, your Casablanca, Raja Casablanca, Wydad Casablanca, Esperance in Tunisia, these guys can buy players outside. They can, I mean, even a smaller club like Al Hilal in Sudan, they've got the financial muscle to also go out of the continent to get big players. So if we all want fairness in this financial fair play, in the South African context, let it start in the continental space first, and then it will trim down to the domestic level. Well, that was the reaction to the signings of Mamelodi Sundowns. I think Mamelodi Sundowns really own this transfer window. The shocker of them all is THEMBINKOSI Lorch leaving a club. He was a star on, or star in, and he was celebrated, loved by the fans. And for him to leave, I'm sure it was tough, but probably the boy also wants to win big trophies. He wants to win CAF Champions League. He wants to win the league. He wants to compete year in and year out with big boys. Maybe that's his reasoning. And yeah, welcome to Mamelodi Sundowns, to all the players, and may you succeed and may you prosper in everything that you'll be part of at this Pretoria side. Yes, I do go by the name of Sense Football. Do not forget to subscribe, hit that like button, share the content on all your socials. I do really appreciate the comments, and do engage. And what's been your best signing? Who are you excited about? Who do you think will kick out someone from the starting 11 at clock up? It's going to be an interesting next 6 months or so in the league and in CAF Champions League. I mean, these are quality signings. Mdunyelwa, Matthews, MATIAS Eaquivel, and THEMBINKOSI Lorch.